Going on, guys? Today we're checking out the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Thank you to Activision for sending over a review code to check all of this out. And so far, so good. I actually like what we're seeing here. Now, let me give you a little backstory on my end. I played the original Spyro the Dragon on the PS1 when it came out, like maybe the first year it was out. I remember I rented it on my PS1 and I liked it, but I didn't really play the other ones. And when I heard about this and it was talked about and then they revealed it, here we are now, I was excited because I wanted to play through the other ones. This has Ripto's Rage and Year of the Dragon on it, along with the first Spyro the Dragon for a price of $39.99. And I said, okay, cool, I can actually go back and play through them because the team behind this, Toys for Bob, did a pretty good job actually remaking this in Unreal Engine 4. They spent a considerable amount of time, you can at least tell in the visuals and the animations and everything. They spent a lot of time working on this because it is high quality. It's very high quality actually. So I'm a little further into the game here, and you basically go around, you rescue dragons, you collect gems, because it is a collectathon after all, and you play through the game that way, and you play through as Spyro, who's the little dragon here, and it's actually a really, really fun game. I was curious how it was going to age, and how maybe gamers now see this game, but I think because of the visual style, the animations being high quality, and everything else, I think this is going to age well enough for people to try it out. Now, if you look at the PS1 visuals, yeah, I can see why maybe some of either the younger audience or newer gamers now might not even give that a second look, which is kind of where we are now with, you know, 4K visuals and everything like that. It's just a lot, everything's kind of judged by, you know, first glance. This game, though, at a first glance, looks really good, although there's one thing that's a bit confusing to me. It's supposed to be Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro enhanced from what we heard, and I don't know if it is. I'm going to be honest, because it's the cutscenes are kind of blurry on the 4K screen that I have here, my 4K monitor, and there's no options in the menu. In fact, the options in this game are fairly limited. Let me show you what I mean. If I go down here and I go to options, I have controls where I can change the control scheme. I can go back to the retro controls or do the reignited ones. I can check out the move list. I can turn vibration on and off. I can go down to sound and play around with the music. It can be regular or reignited with dynamic music. The volumes. And nothing with subtitles, which is kind of a shame. There's nothing that turns that on. Now, in the other games, they have, of course, text dialogue box that were built in and they come up and everything. But in this game, there appears to be no way to turn on subtitles, which is kind of a shame, to be honest. You can play around with the camera. It can either be passive or active with inverted X and Y if you'd like. And then there's also that mini-map. You can turn it on and off. That was on the bottom left. I like to keep it on because I think it's a good quality of life, although if you want it to be just like the regular old school experience without that map, you can, of course, just turn it off. They give you options. Nothing about any kind of video, whether it's performance mode or resolution mode or anything, so I'm not sure if a day one patch is scheduled. I have reached out to Activision to see if they have any comment on that, and whenever they do get back to me, I'll let you guys know in a pinned comment down below if there is any kind of patch for that. I'm very curious. I know not everyone will really care, but you know, I'd like to see this game used well with something like the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, maybe native 4K, maybe a patch to hit it to a constant 60 frames per second or something. That would also be cool, as well as, from what I'm seeing, it feels like it's an unsteady frame rate that seems to be around 30, I guess, most times. I say unsteady like it's a bad thing. It's not like crazy bad or anything, but it feels like they're not taking advantage of the X or the Pro for the added benefit of the, you know, the extra power and everything. But as you can see, I mean, you can see the character models and everything. They look really good. The animations look good, and they all have a lot of character and uniqueness to them. All the dragons you rescue, they all feel different, unique, which is really cool. And the different worlds, of course, are all redone, and they look good. Like, they definitely spent some time. Toys for Bob did a tremendous job with this, and I'm pretty happy with it, with what they did, because it really does feel quality. I like how Spyro looks. Like, I think they didn't do that weird thing they did, like when we saw with Skylanders, where they made him look weird. This looks like how you'd expect Spyro to look nowadays and everything. They even have like little animations for the grass and stuff where you kind of singe it and burn it as you run around with their fire, and plenty of stuff to do. And I want to point out something that's really cool about this that I noticed. They have essentially built-in achievements for unlocking like different art galleries and stuff. Let me show you what I mean. as I'm playing through here, I'm in the Peacekeepers now. There's also the other world I was working through. And you get percentages based on how far you go through them and everything. This one, I've been here as long as we've been talking, and 47% through. It's not like the longest game ever. I think you can beat the first Spyro in like 6 hours or so, something like that. So it's not like the longest game in the world, but they added in skill points. Look at this. Look at these cool little skill points here. So as you do certain things, like I actually unlocked one while I was doing this, where you scare 6 ignores in the tents. And then as you go through, you get skill points, and they unlock art galleries. So you collect skill points to unlock parts 1 and 2 of the art gallery, and as you go through, you get them, and you get different pieces of art, which is really cool. And they give you basically things you should try to do that you can go back to the world to do. It kind of adds like a little extra bit to each one. Like Town Square I was doing, and you have to get the bulls stuck into the ground, and the way you do that is you charge into them rather than use your flames on them, and you have to do it to all the ones in the level. Then you get a skill point, which then unlocks, as you can see, artwork. So kind of a neat extra, it's like a little extra thing, right? I do like the map on the bottom. I know some people will say that's not how, we played it back then, but it's a quality of life thing that I think is a really cool option to have. And, it's optional, it's not needed. It's not something that is, that's really gets in the way if you don't want it on, because you can just toggle it on and off. But like, you have all your controls, you have the roll, boom. I can roll back and forth with left bumper and right bumper, which is cool. Playing on the Xbox One X here. I have the Elite controller that I'm using, and it works really well with the paddles on the bottom to kind of kick around that and everything using those, it works well to map it all out that way. And overall, I'm having a pretty good time with it. I'm really excited to go back through Ripto's Rage and play through that as well, and then Year of the Dragon, just because I never really got a good chance to like play them on the PS1 back in the day, or even the PS2, because eventually when that ended, I went to like the GameCube, and I never tried any of those Spyro games on the GameCube or anything, because once I left the PS1, the first thing I bought was a GameCube after that, or I got for Christmas was a GameCube, and then eventually an Xbox, then a PS2. So I was happy to go back and check these out again here, and just kind of see what kind of a job they did. So I'm very curious about the X and the Pro upgrades to see what we get there. So I'm entering the Dry Canyon now, diving down, and so far, like I said, I've been enjoying this game, but I'm very curious. I want to see what some of the younger generation thinks about it. That's going to be something I'm curious about. The reviews have been good for this game. It's been getting pretty good reviews overall, as I would kind of expect, because it feels like a good game. But let me know if you guys are picking this up, and if you're really excited for playing back through Spyro, or if this, I'm really curious if this is your first time on it, what you'll think nowadays, in today's environment with Spyro. That's going to be the biggest thing that's going to be very interesting to me, is if you like it still, despite it being maybe a little archaic in kind of how it's set up, where it is a collectathon, because I know like Ukulele came out, and people weren't really sold completely on it because it's a collectathon, although I think that had its own issues, to be honest. Let's see if I can chase this guy down. These guys are in all the different levels, and you gotta try to chase them down, but they run just slightly slower than you, so you gotta like keep pace with them like the whole way. And you kind of find them as you go through. Here's a little egg that I'm trying to get. If I can maybe cut them off. Nope. Maybe cut them off as I go back around. And they also taunt you, man. That's messed up. Got him. There we go. He gives me a little egg. And you just have different things you collect as you go through. And I do like the percentage meters they tell you. So they tell you how many dragons you have in each one, and how many of the little collections of the gems you have. I played a little bit of Ripto's Rage just to check it out, see if it had subtitles. Like I said, that was the thing that kind of disappointed me a bit, is that there's no subtitles in the first one. I guess they could be patched in. And yeah, it looked fine too, but I'm mostly focusing on the first one for playing here, and what I'm going to do going forward. Also, one other thing that was very interesting is it does have 3 save slots. So if you're playing with somebody else, like maybe you have a brother or sister and you guys are all going to be playing this, it does have 3 save slots on the same profile, which is kind of neat. So you don't have to worry about somebody overwriting your game because it like defaults to it. It does ask you, do you want to save to this one or that one? So you don't have to worry too much about that, which was nice. And that's another thing about the achievements, as I die there and I'm reigniting. This, at least for the Xbox One version, I don't know about the PlayStation 4, what they did there, but the Xbox One version is interesting because it is 3,000 gamer points. So you do get a full 1,000 for each Spyro game, which was interesting to see. So for $40, you can get a 3,000 score game. I know a lot of people don't care about gamer scores, and some do, but it was interesting to see that because I remember those would be the type of games that would be kind of sought after, or the ones that give you that many achievement points. It's actually quite a bit. I'm curious if there's 3 platinums in the PlayStation version, just to see that. But let me rescue Ivor here, and I think that's gonna be it today, guys. Also check out some of the reviews. Some of the reviews are being done are pretty good. The Metacritic score is good, and I do look at this as a very good quality job done by Toys for Bob. I do wish, and this is my biggest drawback for this game, is if you buy it physically, it's been pretty much confirmed at this point because people were getting it physically early. The second and third one aren't on the disc. If you get it physically, the first one is, but then you have to download extra content to then play the second and third one. So for a lot of people who are physical game collectors, that's gonna put you off, and I get it, because that's, for game preservation's sake, that's a real shame to see that. But if you buy it digitally, like I have a digital copy here, you don't really notice anything. You just download it and just play as normal. And it seemed like the Xbox One version is like 45 gigabytes. So I have no idea why that's the case for this. I do know the PS4 version is like 60-something gigabytes, so I get that, but the Xbox One version is weird. I don't really know why they had to do that. But let me know what you guys think about Spyro the Reignited Trilogy. If you're getting it, I do know there are, of course, rumors of it coming to the Switch and the, I guess, PC as well. But right now we have the PS4 and the Xbox One version that is available at $39.99. Let me know what you guys think about those, and if you're going to be revisiting or if you're playing it for the first time, make sure you guys give the video a like if you liked it, dislike it if not, and I'll see you guys in the next video.